I just want to say thank you to the previous presenters. That was a really amazing morning so far. So we're off to a good start. So my name is Jo Johnson. I'm a fish biologist with U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and I'm also a member of the Women in Fisheries Subcommittee. So I'm really excited to share our story here with you all today. And I just want to thank the New York chapter, AFS, for having us and for giving us the space to tell you our story. So I just want to give a shout out to all of my amazing co-authors. In particular, Megan Coker. She couldn't be here today, but this program would not have been possible without her time and dedication. Stacy Fergal, our chair of the Diversity Committee and our fearless leader. A lot of this wouldn't have been possible without her. Susan Cushman, Lisa Holst, and Kara Yule-Hodgkin. So, like many good things, the Women in Fisheries Subcommittee started with breakfast. So this is a group that started a few years ago, pretty informally over a breakfast networking event, and it's grown and grown each year. And this past year, in advance of making the peer mentorship program, we came up with a little bit of a vision statement to describe what our goals were. And so the mission of the Women in Fisheries Subcommittee is to inspire and empower women and people from underrepresented genders, so transgender, non-binary, gender fluid, to succeed in professional fisheries careers. We strive to foster an encouraging environment for our members to advance their professional development goals. And we recognize that mentorship and peer networking are vital factors to career success. And so that is a core component of our work to enhance those opportunities here within our chapter. And before I get too far ahead, I really want to thank everyone who took that dive with us last year. We launched virtually for our first year. It was a pilot program. We didn't know what to expect, so thank you so much to everyone who took that chance on us. I have a few resources here that I would be happy to share with you all on inclusive scientific meetings and addressing implicit bias in STEM, and I can share those with anyone after this meeting, but we have a few different reasons why we wanted to launch a mentorship program. We wanted to expand professional and personal networks within our chapter, increase confidence within our members, learn and share technical skills and provide a forum for that sharing that takes place outside of conferences, so not just during the annual meetings. We want to increase retention and advancement in a male-dominated field. This is not unique to fisheries, but it is ubiquitous among STEM fields. And we know that COVID has had a lot of impacts. It's reached every aspect of our lives and been very isolating over the last few years. But we know that women have often bared a disproportionate amount of that burden, especially primary caretakers. And so one of the goals was to try to address that. So again, kind of reiterating, our overarching goal for this program was to foster and facilitate an environment where women and underrepresented genders in fisheries can advance their professional development, find trusted allies, and create a support network. So last year at the virtual meeting, we had two networking events. We had a trivia night and we had the breakfast event. And so we kicked off an announcement that we were going to launch this peer mentorship program. We followed that up with a survey that was distributed throughout the AFS newsletter. We didn't have a gender requirement for the mentorship program, so everyone was welcome to participate, as long as you recall what the overarching goal is. And the program ran for 6 months, so we wanted to start off small, asking folks to participate for about 1 hour a month on average, so 6 hours over the course of the year. And the matches were responsible for co-initiating and scheduling the meetings. We just put provided contact information, and it was up to them to really make it happen. But about halfway through the program, we sent a check-in email to just see how things were going, provide people a platform in case they had any questions or concerns. And then this past January, we had a follow-up survey to see how it went for everyone. So if anyone attended the invasive species workshop yesterday, you might be able to tell me what these fish are. I don't have a lot of mentor-mentee pictures, so that's what I have to offer. But we gave some guidelines to everyone before we set out for the meeting. What makes a good mentor and what makes a good mentee. And the common denominator is to respect the other person's time. We all have Zoom fatigue right now. People are expecting a lot of us and we're getting pulled in different ways. So that was the most important aspect. For our mentors, we want them to listen actively and be really generous when it comes to sharing your knowledge, your network, and any resources that might be helpful to your mentee. offer constructive and honest feedback, and help your mentee measure success, but let them define what their goals are. So don't try to project your own goals on them. Be positive and patient, and really honor that commitment, because it might seem trivial to you, but you don't know what that 6 hours could really mean to another person. And for our mentees, we want you to respect your mentor's time. Like I said, we all have a shortage of time. Show gratitude, drive the relationship and set your goals, and be clear in your asks, but realistic in your expectations of what you are asking of the other person. We want our mentees to find ways to connect and be courageous and be prepared. So don't just show up to your meetings not really sure what you want out of it. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about the matching process. Megan and I, we had an idea of automating it in R and then ground truthing it, but we live in Buffalo, and Buffalo's really cold. And there was this freak day, it was like 75 and sunny, so we decided to get our dogs together for a play date instead, and we printed it out, we went old school. And so we took all of those results from the survey to gauge the goals of each person, and we removed all of the names and affiliations so that there wasn't any private information kind of biasing how we would make the matches. We narrowed each answer down based off of the person's current career stage, the skill sets they had to offer, and the skill sets they were seeking. And then once we were done matching them up, we re-included the names, make sure you don't already sit next to that person at your office to begin with. And then we just notified the matches of their contact information, and we made sure to tell the mentors that it's up to you to make the first point of contact, not the mentee. We did get a little feedback that it was slightly awkward. One person kind of likened it to dating. They were like, I don't know what to talk about. So about halfway through the program, we provided recommendations on what folks could talk about. And we also know that due to the limited pool, not everyone was exactly at very different levels of mentorship. So some matches were a little bit more like a co-match. So we thought you could still review writing samples or read papers together and things like that. So you could review writing samples, resumes, conduct a mock interview, just talk about your successes and your achievements to prepare for your end of the year review. Because we ran from June to December, we did cover that time period for people, which was really nice. Talk about how to receive constructive criticism, something we can all get better at. Talk about challenging situations and what you do to work through them. Share your connection to the New York chapter, but also the Northeast Division and the National AFS. So it's not surprising, a lot of our mentors are past presidents, so that was something that was important to them. Talk about how you can get your red star on your name tag. Talk about difficulties with work-life balances or successes with that. And also just show off a product or a project that you're really proud of. So screen share, a poster that you're working on or something like that. So overall, we had 23 people participate. So for a soft virtual launch, we thought that was pretty exciting. We got 15 total matches because some people participated as both a mentor and a mentee. And one mentor took on 2 mentees, and I was one of her mentees, so it was a lot of work for her, I'm sure. So I do want to thank Margaret Murphy for taking on 2 people, because that made it possible for everyone to get a match. And then the follow-up survey, we got 17 responses overall. And so these figures just show the follow-up survey that we sent out. We got a good mix of mentors and mentees who filled out the follow-up survey. And almost everybody said that they felt comfortable to talk with their match about their personal and professional goals. Nobody said no, so that was great. 90% said yes, and 1 or 2 people said somewhat. And similarly, almost everyone got some level of enjoyment out of the program, so that was important for us. And then I want to talk about some of the specific things that people got out of it. 12 people said that sharing knowledge was one of the most valuable things for them within this program. But 8 people said that overcoming a professional challenge was one of the most important things. So that is really striking to me, because at some point, 8 different people were experiencing something that was difficult at work, and having this program was able to help them navigate that. And then 6 people thought it was helpful in developing their own supervisory skills. So that also to me indicated that our mentors got something out of the program too. They got some level of professional development out of it. We asked people, did you actually meet for 6 hours? And got about a 60-40 split on that, so most people did, but not everyone. The way they got there was very different. So people met monthly, more than monthly, quarterly, all different kinds of ways. One person had shared that they weren't satisfied with the amount of meetings that they had, so we hope to improve upon that, but again, it's on the matches themselves. We asked people if they wanted to continue meeting with their match at the end of this 6-month program, and about 80% said yes or maybe. And to us, that was a really good sign of success too, because even if you don't continue to meet on a formal basis, you now have one more person in your network, depending on what their skill sets might be, and if you encounter like an issue that you know that they're very proficient at, you now have one person you can call or email on a more casual basis. And we didn't get any no's for participation again, so everyone either said yes or maybe that they'll do it again. So also to us, that was a really big one. In that follow-up survey, we asked people if they had any feedback or like a short quote that they would be comfortable being shared with this larger audience. And for me, this really makes the program all worth it. So I'm going to read some of these quotes. I know it's a lot of words, but you know, one person said, "With the help of my mentor, I was able to open doors and build connections." Simple as that. One person was able to talk about intimidating steps at work, having difficult conversations with their supervisor, and talking about a promotion and a raise. And that they would recommend the program to anyone who wants to improve their interpersonal skills. One person said, "This program was incredible, I really hope it continues to grow," and they felt really supported by their mentor and they gained confidence in themselves. One person said, "As a mentor, it was meaningful to provide advice and be a sounding board for someone early on, but also as a mentee, it helped them with their professional goals and accelerating their own career." A couple other accolades that it was very helpful and some gratitude. One person shared that for a mentor, it's a great tool to learn supervisory skills, share their knowledge to those who need it, and potentially gain an applicant for a future position. So that's pretty exciting too. And one of these last quotes that I wanted to share is one person said that they work in a hatchery with an all-male staff, and they've never had a female mentor yet in their entire career. So being connected with a female mentor was reassuring, helpful, and empowering. She helped me overcome obstacles, was able to relate to some of the same challenges, and gave her a great sense of encouragement, being able to see where she ended up in the field. So wrapping up, so that was, I think those were some pretty big wins for a virtual launch and only a 6-month program. As fish biologists, we all know how important recruitment is, so we are recruiting again this year. And one person had shared that they really wanted us to encourage more mid-career and retired women to participate in the program. So Kim, we might be coming knocking at your door pretty soon too. And we really want anyone, if you know someone that's not at this meeting but you think that they might be interested, please share this with them. So here's a QR code. I don't know how well it will work off a projector, but I can share this. We're going to distribute it through the newsletter as well. It's going to be open for 2 weeks. And so this just gauges where's your current career stage, what are the skills you have to offer, and what do you hope to expect. If you sign up for this program, you do agree to adhere to AFS standards of professional conduct at all times throughout the program. And any reports and breaches could be made to any Women in Fisheries committee member. It doesn't have to be to me. And I have to plug that signing up doesn't guarantee we're going to find you a match. We are going to do our very, very best, but we don't know how many people are going to sign up, so we will see what happens. The more people that sign up, especially as mentors, the better. And so with that, I really just want to thank, again, all of the people who took this dive with us last year, everyone who wants to participate this year, the chapter itself, the New York Chapter AFS, for giving us the support and space to have this program. And so if anyone has any questions, please feel free to reach out to myself, Joe Johnson, or Megan Coper. Thank you. I'm not sure who the next speaker is, sorry. Let me pass it down.